Have you ever watched a movie and thought, wow, that just looks like a movie, but then you watch a YouTube video and it has a totally different vibe? Well, a huge piece of that puzzle, that magic, comes down to just three letters: FPS. So today, we're going to break down exactly what frame rate is and, more importantly, how you can use it to get the exact look you're going for. Really, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, what am I trying to do here? Are you aiming for that big, epic, cinematic feel you get in a movie theater? Or are you looking for that super crisp, almost hyper-realistic, smooth motion you might see in a live sports broadcast or a video game? It's a fundamental choice, you know? And the key that unlocks either one of those looks is your frame rate. So before we can even get into picking one, we've got to be on the same page. What even is frame rate? It's kind of the secret sauce, the fundamental building block behind every single video you have ever watched. Okay, think of any video as basically a high-tech flipbook, right? Each page in that flipbook is a single, still picture, what we call a frame. Now, when you flip through those pages really, really fast, your brain gets tricked into seeing smooth, continuous motion. So frame rate, or FPS, which just stands for frames per second, is literally just how many of those pages or frames we're flipping through in one single second. That's it. All right, let's kick things off with the big one, 24 FPS. For almost a century, this has been the gold standard for movies. Why? Well, way back in the day, it was just the perfect sweet spot. It was fast enough to look like real motion, but slow enough that they didn't burn through a ton of super expensive film stock. And because of all that history, our brains are just wired now to see 24 frames per second and think movie. And here's the wild part. 24 FPS isn't perfectly smooth. Not at all. There's this tiny, subtle motion blur, a little bit of a jitter to it. And that's what we've come to associate with powerful storytelling. It feels a little less like you're just looking out a window and a little more like you're watching a dream unfold. How cool is that? The technical imperfection is actually what makes it feel so perfect for cinema. Okay, so if 24 FPS owns the big screen, what about all the little screens we look at all day? You know, your phone, your laptop. Well, that brings us to 30 FPS, which is, without a doubt, the king of all online content. So who's using 30 FPS? The answer is pretty much everyone online. Seriously, from those quick Instagram reels you scroll through to sit-down interviews to pretty much all your favorite YouTubers, 30 FPS is the go-to. It's just a bit clearer and sharper than 24, which makes it perfect for content that needs to feel direct, informative, and right here, right now. And this comparison really boils it all down, doesn't it? On one hand, you have 24 FPS, giving you that dreamy, film-like feel. On the other, you've got 30 FPS, with that clear, standard digital look we're also used to seeing on our feeds. You could almost say one is for escaping reality, and the other is for documenting it. But what if you want to go even smoother? What if you need to capture some really fast action, or you're trying to create a very specific, very slick visual effect? Well, that is where 60 FPS comes into play. By basically doubling the number of frames, you unlock a whole new world of creative options. And this is the key thing to remember. It's really just simple math. A higher FPS means your camera is capturing more information every single second. And more information means you have way more creative control when it comes time to edit your video. It's like having twice as many ingredients to cook with in the kitchen. So what's the number one absolute best thing you can do with all that extra information? I'll tell you, the biggest reason people shoot in 60 FPS is to create gorgeous, clean, buttery smooth slow motion. And the process is actually incredibly simple. First, you just film whatever you want in 60 frames per second. Then you take that clip, you drop it into your editing software, and you just slow it down. Because you started with so many extra frames, the final slow motion looks incredibly clean and professional. It's not choppy or stuttery, it just works. It's beautiful. Okay, so we've gone through the big three. Let's put this all together in a really simple way so you can figure out exactly which frame rate is the right tool for your next project. And here it is, your ultimate frame rate cheat sheet. It's this simple. If you want that classic, cinematic, jittery feel, go with 24 FPS. If you're making pretty much any standard online content, your vlogs, your reels, your interviews, 30 FPS is going to be your workhorse. It's clear, it's standard, it's perfect. And finally, when you need that ultra-smooth look for sports or fast action, or you want to create that epic slow motion shot, 60 FPS is absolutely your best friend. So the power is officially in your hands now. You get it. You understand the language of frame rates and what each one communicates to the people watching your stuff. So the only real question left is, What story do you want to tell? And which of these frame rates is going to help you tell it best?